What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live transfer update. And today we'll be looking at the latest transfer goings on from Arsenal as we potentially close in on a new signing with Lisandro Martinez. That one looks like it is getting ever closer, although Manchester United are trying to hijack this deal, according to reports as well. And after yesterday, and Raphinha, oh man, we can't deal with any more hijackings. Before we get into the show, make sure you like the video, subscribe. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. All your comments, interaction has been absolutely brilliant. So really appreciate that. And you know what? Before we get into the show, I just want to say something about the video that we put out yesterday regarding Raphinha, because I got a lot of messages. Some people agreed, some people didn't. I'm always up for the debate as long as it's respectful. And what I wanted to say about Raphinha, I've said over the last 2 weeks, I'm not totally convinced about Raphinha at 60, 65 million. Not totally convinced. But I have never said on any show that I wouldn't sign him, because I'm very much of the belief that Arsenal need to improve this team. They need to improve this squad. And I think Raphinha improves the Arsenal team. The wingers we've got at the moment, Saka, performing well, but looked a little bit burnt out. Smith-Rowe had injury problems. Martinelli hasn't quite reached the heights yet. Looks good, but I think there's still another level. Pepe, we've got a bit of an issue with at the moment. I would have taken Raphinha at Arsenal all day long. Now, a lot of the messages I was getting was, we don't need a winger. We've got 4 wingers. Listen, did Liverpool need Luis Diaz when they had Sadio Mane? You know, Manchester City, did they need Jack Grealish? Sometimes you have to sign players to push your best players even further. You can't just say, well, we've got Saka, so we don't need a winger. This is how you become a great team. This is what competition for places is about. You know, listen, how often do you buy a player and say, right, we got him for a price that I think is justifiable? Is Ben White worth 50 million? No chance, in my opinion. I think we paid too much money for him. And I think 60 to 65 million for Raphinha is too much. But let's be honest, it's not too much more than he's probably worth. In my opinion, he's probably a £50 million winger. He's a Brazilian international. He's 25. It is what it is. I just wanted to make it clear, because some people were saying, well, you've been saying you're not totally convinced. You don't often sign a player and say, you know what, you got amazing value for money there. I would have liked to have seen Raphinha come to Arsenal. Reports today actually stating that Barcelona are still confident of scuppering his move to Chelsea, despite the reports yesterday. It seems as if Arsenal have fallen out the race. Maybe they used our interest to get him a better deal at Chelsea or potentially at Barcelona. So Raphinha doesn't come to Arsenal. I would have taken him. I think 65 million would have been a little bit too much, but I still think he's a good player, and I hope we go for an alternative. So we'll have to see what happens with that one. Let's talk Lisandro Martinez. Now, there's been mixed reports today. Start of the day, a lot of the stories were saying that Manchester United are interested in hijacking this deal. Ten Hag managed him at Ajax. He knows him very well. United apparently were prepared to pay the money. Now, later in the day, a lot of the reports coming out are that Lisandro Martinez is close to a move to Arsenal. Now, The Telegraph, Sam J. Dean, who writes for The Telegraph, good reporter, has said Arsenal want to close a deal for Lisandro Martinez soon, and their new bid is worth 35 million, rising to 40 million with add-ons. Ajax have not yet responded to this. They were hoping to get 43 million pounds, but it's believed this deal could, key word here, could be enough to get this deal completed. Now, a few other journalists say Manchester United are not overly desperate to sign him at the moment, as they feel they have other priorities. They've just agreed a fee for a left-back. They're trying to get De Jong, and they're looking at a few other positions before this position. So it looks as if Arsenal could be closing in on this deal. According to reports, Lisandro Martinez is prepared to join Arsenal. And Ben Jacobs was on the Football Terrace with Terry, went on to say the last update he got from Arsenal was that they're working on it and they're confident. They're hoping to table a third offer. They believe they will reach an agreement for the player. So We'll have to see what happens with this one. I think one of the interesting things about this deal, and I know I've repeated myself, is where does he play? Why do you spend so much money on somebody who doesn't seem to have a clear path into the team? Now, I know you'll just say, well, with Raphinha, they didn't look like a clear path. But I think there's an argument to say Raphinha could have got in one of those two wide positions. Where with Lisandro, I'm not sure if he's better than Gabriel. I suppose only time will tell. I haven't seen enough of him to make that judgment. But it looks as if Arsenal are really hunting this deal down. The Butcher, as he's nicknamed over there at Ajax. And this third offer, listen, for me, when you make 3 offers for a player, number one, you should get the deal completed. And number two, the player must have given you the nod that, listen, if you agree terms, I'll sign for you. So I think this one is heating up, and this could be one that gets over the line when it comes to transfers over the next couple of weeks. Arsenal were back in pre-season on Monday. They started back, and pictures came out of the club today. And there was a few interesting faces in pre-season training people. Hector Bellerin was there. Pablo Mari was there as well. You know, players that have been out on loan. Ainsley Maitland-Niles also involved. And what is going to happen with these loan players? Now, there is a little bit of clarity on one of the loan players, and that is Lucas Torreira. He's done an interview on holiday, and he was asked whether there was a chance of him staying at Arsenal, and he said, there is no chance. From the beginning, they told me that I didn't have a place, so I don't want to stay either. We'll look for a new direction. Any team that wants me has to buy me, which would be around 15 million euros. Man's talking about his own transfer fee and all sorts. So I know a few of you have said, bring Lucas Torreira back. Clearly, Mikel Arteta, never been a fan of him, and looks as if he'll be on his way. Pablo Mari, it's believed Udinese were interested, but his £70,000 a week wages are too high. I don't really want to see Pablo Mari back at Arsenal, if I'm being honest. I don't think he's of the level required. And I would like to see... I think when you've got Saliba coming back, you've already got White and Gabriel. Holding signed a new deal last year, even though I don't particularly rate Holding. And if they get Lisandro in, then I think Pablo Mari will be moved on, whether that's a loan or a permanent. Hector Bellerin back in training again. I suppose the question I would ask, he's not better than Tomiyasu, but is he better than Cedric? That would be the question. Is he a better backup right back than Cedric? He's got a year left on his contract. If you can't sell him, do you use him? I think you need to get rid of him, but he's on £100,000 a week. Real Betis have said they can't afford the wages. So what happens with Hecky B? I think you need to sell him, but you need somebody to buy him in order to get rid of him. So what happens there? Ainsley's back. I've said many times, I think he's a good squad player, especially for Europa League. But again, he's got a year left. Palace, Newcastle are interested. Nottingham Forest, of course, as well. I think Arsenal will look to sell him and let him go and get first team football somewhere. So very interesting. Thomas Partey back in full training. Fantastic news. We simply need to see this guy play 80-90% of the games this season. He's our best midfielder and one of our best players, but he just doesn't play enough. And if he has another year like he's had the last 2 years, I think Arsenal have to make a judgment call on him, because for 200 grand a week, 45 million, it's not good enough playing once a month at a top level. Then you have a couple of quiet games, then you get injured. He's a quality player, but we need to see him on the pitch more. But great news to see him back. Let's hope he can have a big season at Arsenal this season, because it needs to happen, that is for sure. I just wanted to briefly speak about Nicolas Pepe. Nicolas Pepe was back in training today as well. On social media, he put out some personal training that he must have been doing over the summer, working hard, running, training hard. I think we need 4 wingers at the club. We've got 4 wingers at the moment with Martinelli, Smith-Rowe, Saka, Pepe. Would Arsenal... Now we've missed out on Raphinha, which, listen, I'm not happy about, but it is what it is. I want Serge Gnabry. Somebody told me, actually, in the comments, it's Serge Gnabry, but I'm stuck in this Gnabry thing at the moment. But I'm sure I'll filter my way out of it. I just don't think Arsenal are in for him. I don't think they're willing to pay the wages it would take to get him to come to the club. I don't think he's desperate to come to us in the Europa League. Is there a situation, is there any way in your eyes that Nicolas Pepe gets one more chance at this football club. 2 years left on his deal. I always say you have to try and make the best out of a bad situation. If we haven't signed Raphinha, are we better off putting that money elsewhere and giving Nicolas Pepe one more chance? I have to admit, at the end of the season, I kind of felt like his time at the club was over. But it doesn't seem like many clubs are knocking on the door to sign him. Are we better off saying one more year, you've got Europa League, and you need to force your way into the Premier League? With 5 substitutes in the Premier League this year, with a World Cup, with us being back in Europe, there's going to be a lot more opportunity for football. Would you give Nicolas Pepe one more chance? I've got to admit, right, if Arsenal aren't going to sign a winger, a top quality winger, and you don't have a club that's putting money on the table, I would give him one more season. I don't think there's any point loaning him out for a year. If somebody puts 20 million plus on the table, you might have to take the financial hit and sign somebody else. I would agree with that. But if nobody is coming forward to buy him and you're only being offered loans, I would give him one more chance. He scored a lot of goals for us in Europe. And even if you use him in rotation, there'll be an opportunity for him to play more football. Like I said, I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. You get a good offer on the table, I think you take it. But if you don't, I think you put your arm around him, Mikel Arteta, and try and get more out of him, because I still believe there's a talent there, people. I really do. But let me know in the comments what you think. Finally, before we round up, we couldn't not mention Gabriel Jesus. According to reports, deal will be announced tomorrow, Thursday. You may be watching this already in the early hours of Thursday or late on Wednesday night. Gabriel Jesus should be announced tomorrow, so we'll have plenty of content out for that. And looking forward to seeing the announcement. He should be wearing the number 9 shirt, and looking forward to seeing him join for the club. It's taken me 24 hours to calm down on Raphinha. Maybe I got caught up in the emotion a little bit. It's just, for me, I still think we have to strengthen this Arsenal attack. I still think that we don't quite have enough in this attack. I would like to see one player come in. Unless you can rebirth Pepe, maybe you get an extra 5-6 goals out of Martinelli, then maybe we have a chance. But people, let me know what you think about what we've spoken about today. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Love all your interaction. I'll be back tomorrow for Happy Gabriel Jesus Day. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.